You're watching South Asia Newsline and have the top stories we are tracking for you on Friday, the 18th of July. US designates Pakistani groups offshoot as terrorist organization over India's Pahalgam attack. Rights groups slam Pakistan for using anti-terror laws to crush Baloch voices. And Nepal's southern plains go dry amidst monsoon throws life out of gear. And now for all the details. In a major achievement over India's anti-terror efforts, the United States on Thursday designated the Resistance Front, an offshoot of Pakistan-based terror outfit Lashkar-e-Taiba, as foreign terrorist organization. The terror outfit, which has been active since 2019 and was floated in order to divert attention from the Pakistan-based group to avoid FATF scrutiny, has been involved in over 24 cases and had claimed responsibility for the April 22nd Pahalgam attack, which killed 25 Indians and a Nepali national. TRF's designation by Washington as a foreign terrorist organization and specially designated global terrorist enforced President Donald Trump's call for justice for the Pahalgam attack. US Secretary of State Rubio said in a statement announcing the development. India said it appreciated the move, with Foreign Minister S. Jaishankar calling it a strong affirmation of India-US counter-terrorism cooperation. Notably, following the Pahalgam attack, Pakistan defended the terror outfit, with Pakistan Foreign Minister Ishaq Dar claiming in the parliament that Islamabad worked to remove reference to TRF in the statement issued by the United Nations Security Council.
See, it's a huge victory for India's diplomatic effort. I think a lot of effort had taken place on the diplomatic front in the DC, and that has paid off. US designating as a foreign terrorist organization and especially designated global terrorist outfit is a slap on the face of Pakistan, which has been actually trying to portray that it is a local resistance front constituted of Kashmiri boys, which is not true. It is all more than 90% of the TRF is composed of Pakistani terrorists and foreign terrorists.
Meanwhile, in a major embarrassment for Pakistan, White House shunned the media reports by Pakistani outlets, GeoTV and ARY News, which, quoting anonymous sources, had claimed Trump will be visiting Islamabad, followed by a visit to New Delhi in September this year. In a response to a question by ANI, the White House spokesperson said no trip has been scheduled so far. According to the Dawn News, Pakistan Foreign Ministry spokesperson Shafqat Ali Khan also denied having any knowledge of any such visit. Notably, POTUS is likely to visit New Delhi later this year for Quad's Leaders Summit. However, no date for the summit has been finalized so far. While there was boost in relations between Islamabad and Washington, no US president has visited the South Asian nation for over 2 decades. George W. Bush was the last US president to visit Pakistan in 2006. In a show of operational strength and maritime self-reliance, India successfully test-fired 2 nuclear-capable short-range ballistic missiles, Prithvi 2nd and Agni 1st, on July 17th, followed by the commissioning of Indian Navy's first indigenous diving support vessel INS Nistar the next day. The test firings were carried out from the Integrated Test Range in Chandipur, Odisha, under the aegis of the Strategic Forces Command. Both Prithvi 2nd and Agni 1st missiles validated all operational and technical parameters, reinforcing India's capability to maintain a credible minimum deterrent, a statement by the Ministry of Defence said. A day after, the Indian Navy marked another milestone by commissioning INS Nistar in Visakhapatnam. Developed by Hindustan Shipyard Limited with over 80% indigenous content, the vessel will serve as a vital platform for deep-sea diving operations and submarine rescue missions. INS Nistar is equipped with advanced diving systems, remotely operated vehicles, and a deep submergence rescue vehicle interface, significantly enhancing India's maritime response capability in the Indian Ocean region. And Amnesty International has slammed Pakistan for intensifying its crackdown on Baloch activists using anti terror laws and arbitrary detentions. It stated that enforced disappearances and state violence in Balochistan are silencing legitimate dissent. A report.
The Amnesty International has raised alarm over the continued detention of Baloch activists, including Mahrang Baloch, Baybag and Bibo Baloch and others, amid an intensified crackdown in Balochistan. It highlighted in a report that these individuals have been arbitrarily detained for peacefully protesting and demanding justice for victims of alleged state violence. It condemned the arrests under Pakistan's Maintenance of Public Order Ordinance and Anti-Terrorism Act and other laws widely criticized for their misuse against dissent. Families alleged torture and enforced disappearances, while fresh concerns emerged after peaceful protests were disrupted using excessive force. Despite court interventions, several activists remain in custody beyond legally permissible limits. Enforced disappearances remain rampant in Balochistan, with over 2,300 cases reported in 2024 alone. Civil society and international observers fear the growing crackdown is aimed at silencing voices from the resource-rich region. Rights groups have urged immediate reforms and justice for those targeted solely for exercising their fundamental freedoms.
And as a move to boost regional trade and connectivity, Pakistan, Uzbekistan, and Afghanistan signed an agreement on Thursday to connect Central Asia with Pakistani seaports via Afghanistan in a trilateral meeting in Kabul. Pakistan's Foreign Ministry announced on Platform X that the framework agreement on the joint feasibility study for Uzbek-Afghan Pak Railway project will pass through Uzbekistan, Mazar-e-Sharif, and Logar in Afghanistan, and in Pakistan via a border crossing in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. The railway project is aimed to facilitate regional and bilateral trade along with passenger and freight services and is based on the agreement decided by the three countries in 2023. Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Affairs Minister of Pakistan, Ishaq Dar, who is on a visit to Afghanistan, also called on Afghanistan's acting Prime Minister, Muhammad Akhund. And authorities in Bangladesh have formed a committee to investigate and tighten the security following the deadly clashes between security forces and supporters of the National Citizen Party, a new political outfit formed by students who led uprising that ousted former PM Sheikh Hasina last year. The student-led uprising forced Hasina to flee to India, and since then, there have been delays over promised reforms, growing protests, and political division. The death toll rose to at least 5 on Friday after the clashes that broke out during an NCP rally in Gopalganj, Hasina's ancestral home, where Awami League supporters allegedly tried to disrupt the event. This incident has underscored the ongoing political tensions in the country nearly a year after Hasina's ouster. Meanwhile, neighboring India on Thursday reiterated that the next election of Bangladesh should be inclusive and have everybody in its fold. Moving on, the southern plains of Nepal suffer from the absence of rain when the rest of the Himalayan nation is bracing for above-average rainfall this monsoon, throwing life out of gear and leaving locals and farmers in worry. We have a report.
The dry and arid monsoon this year has increased fear for locals and farmers, who now are in worry for even their basic needs and survival. Madhesh province, which is the breadbasket of Himalayan nation, still relies on rainwater for cultivation. The provincial government has declared 8 districts as drought-affected areas following the absence of rain and is prompted to mobilize fire engines and other vehicles to deliver water to affected communities.
जो 8 जिला है ये एकदम पूरा सूखाग्रस्त एरिया है। अभी जो है सो बारिश होनी थी, बारिश नहीं हो पा रही है। इसके कारण से अभी जो है सो होल मध्य प्रदेश में 8 डिस्ट्रिक्ट में जो खेती का रोपाई है वो आज के डेट तक 36% हुआ है, जो कि यही समय में इसी दरमियान में आज के डेट तक जो है सो लगभग 70-80% तक खेती का रोपाई हो जाता था।
Monsoon this year is same for thousands of farmers throughout the region, where cultivation is yet to be done with no water available. The deep borings across the region has also dried up due to a prolonged dry spell in mid-monsoon.
केना का हम सब जीबै, केना का धिया पुता जीतै, केना का रोपतै खेत पथार, समस्या भारी भऽ गेल।
Nepal annually faces floods, landslide and inundation resulting in loss of lives and properties. On the other hand, the unavailability of drinking water in the southern region leave locals in worry, who are being forced to fetch water from far-flung areas.
लेकिन पानी जो अभी हम लोग पीते हैं वो पानी पीने का समस्या हो गया है। इस अवस्था में गैलन में पानी बोकते हैं और दूसरे जगह से पानी लाते हैं और तब पानी पीते हैं, वो भी पानी नहीं पहुंचता है।
That's all in tonight's edition. We will see you same time next week. Have a great weekend. Good night.